Very good. Life should beat you more. What is this? Huh? Pay cut only ah? You should get shit callings also ah.
Okay.
Okay, at the same time.
Just now, we had a live update about being a designer and being a parent, getting back to work, the fear of finding jobs.
As a mom. So now moving on, we are gonna talk a bit more about Xuan's
Yes,
So now
yes,
you're the
about
artist.
me.
time for me to interview you.
So, okay, my headline of my live update, right? I don't know why I curl my hair just now when I say
Is
this.
it because I say you're the artist now?
Okay, my headline is interviewing around after a layoff.
Yeah. So beginning of this year, if you guys go back a few episodes, we had a laid back chat about being laid off, and there were some tears. No, nah, just kidding.
There were tears, just not during
yes,
the interview.
she had her tears somewhere else. Yeah,
Yes. Then that was our best performing episode.
yeah, apparently.
And we realized that our listeners really like hardships, huh?
Life is all about hardships, guys.
I agree. And I think, not sure if it's an Asian thing, but just a lot of people don't talk about hardships.
Yeah, it was also insightful for us to know that actually people enjoy this sort of conversations where it's not really concretely talking about design as how we normally do. A very heavy design related topic, and then we
Correct.
put in research, we put in points that we find out. But this one is more of like just sharing our experiences. And
It's literally design life. It's
Yes,
your life
yeah.
as a designer.
yeah, precisely.
Right. So let me just give a brief timeline. So after the layoff, I had around 5 months of unemployment. Yeah, so in that 5 months of unemployment, it was a mix of working on portfolio, focusing a bit more on Kiasu Design Life. Somehow there were more opportunities
For the podcast.
for Kiasu Design Life also.
Yeah.
So like really dedicating more lor to that. Yeah, delivering a talk representing Kiasu Design Life
Yeah.
at NDC. Then finally I realized, well, financially, I think I really need to get back to work.
Yeah.
So just grew my portfolio and then started to interview around lah. Yeah, so I've been scrolling around like, subreddits on UX design, also like talking to a lot of people in the process of the 5 months. And you know, something that's so overly discussed is job market is so shit now. Everywhere globally.
Yeah, there's an
and-
oversupply of designers, especially
Yeah.
designers who got laid off, and then combined with new designers who just got trained maybe from their boot camps program.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know how to feel whenever I hear
More designers are
people
joining in.
laid off.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
It's like, shit, more people
Yeah.
applying for jobs.
Yes. More competition.
Yeah, you can't help but to think like, no. Apart from doing this along with my ex-colleagues who got laid off together, now I need to also do it with other people who got laid off. Yeah, so it was just the mixed bag of feelings lor. I can share my observation around this 5 months of interviewing and I just looking around for jobs. I do see a lot of UI and design system designers popping up. Yeah, which was honestly a surprise for me. Because I thought that the whole UX industry is moving more towards product design. So to me, it's like, how come specifically more UI and DS designers? So I guess if you are super into UI or design system, maybe there's that niche in the market right now that you can apply for.
I also understand that there are some companies who may not understand actually the difference between UX and UI. They would put as UX designers, but actually what they're seeking for are actually UI
Correct.
designers.
Yeah.
True,
When you
right?
read the job description, you're
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
okay. I think they are more for UI designers.
Yeah, I've also ever seen job requirements where they would mention maybe product designer or maybe UX designer, but then when you read the requirements, right, it sounds more like they need someone in marketing.
There are a lot of mismatch lah of the job description and job titles now also. Yeah. I don't know. Okay, so that's my other observation lor, which is I feel like companies may not be super serious
Serious?
about hiring.
Oh, okay. Not serious in what way? Meaning they don't really invest into finding out what is a true designer? Is that what you mean?
Okay, so this is my theory
Yeah.
now, because I think there is a lot more designers in the supply
Yeah.
looking for jobs, and
Yeah.
maybe there's this air of desperation in the industry right now, right? Like
For the designers.
correct, when there's one job posting out there and then you see like how many people just flocking to apply for it. I got a feeling that companies may be taking advantage of this desperation.
Oh no.
So what I mean by that is I feel that some companies just put their job listing out there to collect profiles, not necessary to hire.
Okay.
Yeah, and I don't know how to feel about this.
That sounds a bit like spam though.
Yeah. So how I arrive at this conclusion, right? When they are not super keen in hiring, definitely they will reject people because they just want profiles.
Yeah.
So I feel like the rejection has been so much for me to come to this conclusion. Yeah, and honestly, the job descriptions, it's like you can tell that they are not really serious.
Oh, okay. Not serious in terms of really
finding that right designer. You know? Yeah. So when I triangulate all this, I just feel like, are they taking advantage of the desperation? And I don't know how I feel about it, because to be honest, I still feel for my ex-colleagues who are on EP. And then every time they see a job listing, to them it's a hope.
Yeah, precisely.
Yeah,
it's a hope for them to have a job and for them to stay.
Correct. And it's not only for EP, right? Like for me, I also hope to look for a place that helps me with my finances. I trade my skills for money .
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, so I feel very bitter about it. Like that whole desperation of I need a job because I got laid off or whatever reasons, and then because I need a job, there are companies taking advantage of me wanting a job. And for me to get a job in the first place, I need to supply my data.
Yeah.
And now you're using me to collect my profiles for whatever reasons
Yeah.
for on your end. So that's that one part that makes me feel very sad.
I wonder if any other designers feel the same. I mean, if you guys hearing this, if you feel for it or you have something to say, all the more you can share your words and thoughts on it .
Yeah, it's true.
So basically, since that's what you feel right now about job positions, right? How about your thoughts around job interviews?
Yeah, so I think after going through interviews, I do feel that people are a lot more careful. Those that are really serious about looking for designers.
Applicants are a lot more careful.
No. Like the interviewers are a lot more careful, a lot more intricate in their questions. I'm just thinking maybe because there's a lot more people applying, so they really want to sieve out the most fit one. Yeah, so definitely compare to like the interviews that I had in the past.
Yeah.
The interviews I face right now is definitely a lot more intricate, a lot more taxing, to be honest.
Wow.
Yeah, a lot more processes.
Are the questions like very situational based kind of questions, or?
Yeah, situational, cultural, trying to understand how you work. Even asking about your design philosophy.
Wow.
Yeah, what do you think makes good design? Yeah, so all sorts of questions. And then with every question that are thrown at you, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes you'll just feel like, oh my god, is this that one response that will
be the designing factor?
Yeah.
Sounds like a Miss Universe answering a question.
Yeah. Because everything that is thrown at you, you need to react to it, right?
Yeah.
And then how you react to it, you feel like you'll decide your future. Yeah. And I think that is that part where sometimes I overthink. I don't know if you hear of this thing called the desperation energy.
Never heard
it's like the more you want something,
the
weirder you become.
Serious?
Yeah, like
meaning you don't become yourself.
Correct. It's like when you like someone, and then when you're beside this person, you end up acting a bit weird, and then your friend after that comes and tell you that, hey, you're very weird. You're not yourself.
Or maybe, for example, your crush maybe likes soccer, but you don't actually like soccer.
Then you
but suddenly
want to go and
around your crush, you suddenly, so Yaya papaya about soccer, ask this and that. Then maybe your friend comes on, since when you like soccer?
Correct. In the beginning, I tend to do that. Yeah, I tend to answer like this textbook.
Meaning you tend to answer what they want to hear.
Yeah, then after that, when I think of it, it's like totally not me. Yeah, so I kind of adjusted a bit, then realized that you just answer casually, really like chatting with someone. It's almost like podcast.
Yeah, I was gonna say, maybe you should imagine yourself.
Correct.
What would KSZL Xuan answer?
Yeah. I think that's a good mindset to relax yourself, because I think they may feel it also.
Yeah,
they can sense it also.
Yeah, I'm sure they can sense it. Exactly, because they interview so many people, right? Surely they have similar answers or they see a certain pattern.
Yeah. It's like, this one got Chat GPT on the side to help answer.
Or it's not Google the answer before. Memorize.
Yeah.
Memorize already.
Yeah, whereas like I think companies still value someone who is more
Authentic.
and someone who is more unique. So if you believe that you are this unique person, which I think everyone is,
Yes, of course.
yeah, then just show it lor.
The jobs that you interviewed for, right, were they the permanent staff or on contract basis?
I also see quite a lot of contract, like 1-year contracts.
Oh, okay.
I do see a lot hiring for short-term replacements. You know, last time when the UX industry is still very lucrative and doing well.
Just like maybe a few years back.
Yeah, good times. Then people hire for future roles. You know, they hire not because they desperately needed someone to work on existing projects, but more of we have budget. So you just hire. But I think now, no. Now it's really to fill for a specific role that maybe the designers in the current company is holding the fort. And then you go in to be a helping hand. Yeah, one thing to note that because of this, the expectation of you when you join a company is probably high. Because your role is really to go in and help out with the existing projects.
Then there's a lot of pressure on you as a designer leh. Because it's like you are expected to just immediately fit into the team.
I think that is also why I would say it's good that you find a new job in this climate. But I think the challenge has just begun. You're trading problems with problems. Like this is something I felt so much this year. And in my 9 years career, I've never been rejected.
Oh, serious?
Yeah.
You mean in the past jobs when you went for interviews, you were never rejected?
I was never rejected.
Oh,
Yeah.
you went for an interview, immediately got accepted.
I got accepted, yeah. So it's you.
Okay.
So this year, I thought that I would still do okay amidst knowing the market out there.
Yeah.
I thought that I will still do okay. Then when I've got my first rejection, you know, and it's really after the whole process. You know, sometimes when you go through the whole process, your mind just can't help but to already imagine yourself working there.
Oh, okay.
Right.
I know what you mean,
And like imagine yourself like negotiating the salary and signing the contract.
Imagine yourself like, okay, this will be my route to this workplace.
Yeah. And then all the people that you met throughout the interview process, you're like, can't wait to work with them.
Yeah, potential team members. So exciting.
Yeah. And then I remember my first rejection email. It was a startup. They are very nice. They gave such personalized and such sorrow and thoughtful email to me.
Wow.
Detailing
and that's your
why-
first rejection.
That's my so I think that is
Aww, they
I
did
don't know if that is the reason why it makes me so emotional. So at that point I was at the cafe in Buona Vista.
Alone.
Yeah, I was alone working on my portfolio still. And then I saw the email come in. It was this long ass email. So it took me a while to read. But I think usually now that I've trained, that usually long ass emails means that you got rejected. Because they shit sandwich, you know, they need to say the good things. Then unfortunately
I now when I can think of it, I did ever gotten a rejection email before, and yes, it's quite long. It was at least 4 paragraphs. I guess the long message is to compensate for the rejection, I guess.
Correct, yeah. It's to cushion it lor. So I was at a cafe, I saw an email, then finally got to that point saying that unfortunately it's not a good fit because they are looking for someone that's more UI. Yeah. And then when I saw the email, I started sobbing so much.
Oh, yeah.
I sounded like a princess, but that's really what happened lah. And then it was a Sunday.
Aww.
So there were a lot of people around me. Then I don't know, maybe people think it's like a breakup text or something.
Breakup email.
Yeah, then I just staring at my computer. Then I just started like... like, it's that kind of cry that's from your gut. You cannot control one.
I guess because you already have the expectations in your head. Like, you were hoping to work with so you were imagining yourself, and then you were hopeful that it will be a positive outcome.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, I think one humbling thing from this interviewing around and looking for jobs, right, is that after that first rejection, you just keep getting hit with rejections to a point that you just feel so numb about it. And I think like facing rejection is a form of resilience. Yeah, it's like
I guess over time it sort of builds up your character, and your emotional capacity eventually expands, and you realize that, hey, this is just one opportunity closer to a better opportunity.
Yeah, I think that thinking is very mature, which I think it will only be developed when you face enough rejections. Yeah. So I think in the past, I did not have that chance to experience that.
Yeah.
And right now, it's more of the combination of being after a layoff.
Yeah.
And then you feel so sorry for yourself. Plus, you get rejected some more by another company.
Yeah.
So I think it's that accumulation of these emotions that came to me, and I feel so pitiful that is why I started tearing up in the cafe.
Because when it comes to COVID, right, when you got laid off and you add on with the rejection, it just builds up lah, basically. All this negativity inside.
Yeah.
And you just had to release it.
Correct. You thought that you over it.
Yeah,
already.
yeah.
And then when you get hit with your first rejection email, I think it's a sign that, okay, you never really heal from that. That was really how I felt also. Maybe it's a wrong thinking that, okay, in order for me to heal properly, I need to get a job. You know? And then now I could not get a job. I got a rejection instead. It's like, how shit do you want my life to be, man?
Okay, let's not go there.
Yeah, but all I'm gonna say is there's a lot more rejection right now. That's also what I hear from my other friends. But I would say because of what I suspect that companies are collecting profiles, I would say do not over-index on the rejection. Yeah, don't think too much. Yeah, even if it's genuine rejection, right?
Yeah.
It's just not fit. Like, would you want to go into a company and then after that realize that, actually, tak match lah.
Yeah. That's right. Precisely.
But then again, I'm wondering, like, is this because right now I don't have much liabilities? Because I'm putting myself in the shoes of someone who had just gave birth. And then you're a sole breadwinner. My goal is really to get a financially stable state.
It's a fair point. Take me, for example, right? When I seek a full-time job, I don't want to be too desperate, but at the same time, I cannot be too picky. So I have to strike a balance between seeing whether this job fulfills what I need, whether I meet their requirements. I find myself in a position where if I become too picky about things, right, I might lose out the opportunity.
Especially now.
Yeah, especially now.
Cannot be too picky.
Yes, yeah. So it's a good thing that you actually thought of people like us. Yeah, but in a sense, I also think it's good that you empathize with us, but at the same time, it's good for you to prioritize what are your needs, what fulfills you lah.
Yeah, that's true. One thing that really helped me was to keep this down. What's my dream job? And in what aspect? I remember I had like company level, team level, work environment level, ultimately like those very concrete ones like expected salary.
Meaning like ideal features.
My SS tier.
What is that? SS tier?
The tiering. Like SS tier all the way to like F tier.
Oh, okay.
You know they
okay.
rank.
Yeah.
Like let's say SS tier shopping malls in Singapore. And then Ion Orchard is there.
Okay.
And then the Sembawang is F tier lah. I don't know why. Okay, anyway. So it gives you an idea of like
what you're aiming for.
What am I aiming for? Also, what am I okay to forgo? Because definitely very hard to find an SS tier company, right?
Yeah, precisely.
Especially salaries. That's also my observation, which I feel like the salary range is a bit lower than in the past.
Okay.
Yeah, for the same role, same responsibility.
I see.
That's my observation, but let me know if you think otherwise.
Yes,
I would love
let
to
us
think
know.
it's otherwise.
Yeah.
So I do think you need to know yourself. What am I okay to
Let
forgo?
go.
And I think you really need to imagine yourself working that forgone factor.
Yeah.
It definitely won't be super accurate, but at least get a sense of how you will react. Yeah, because I can tell you, based on my experience, I had a point where I need to take a salary cut. And I thought that it's okay.
Yeah.
But when I actually went on taking a job with the salary cut, I realized that actually I'm very emotionally affected. Yeah.
And you only realize this after working there for some time.
Yes.
I see.
Yes. Yeah. Because before you start working, you only think of it as, I probably see lesser numbers in my bank account.
Yeah.
That's all. Yeah. But you need to think more than that. Like, what does that implicate for you emotionally. Yeah, and I did not think of that.
And mentally as well, I think.
Yeah, and I find myself can't help but to harp on the fact that, wow, I used to draw this number.
Oh.
And you know, the thing about career progression,
Yeah.
a lot of people's idea of career progression is also my salary needs to
Be increasing.
progress.
Yeah, progress. Yeah.
And that's also the reason why a lot of people job hop. And when you take that thinking and map it to you, then you can't help but think like, ah, shit, I'm going backwards.
One step back lah, basically.
I'm going backwards, and then wow, when you start to compare yourself with others, that's even worse.
Yeah.
You can't help but your mind just goes into this spiral,
Yeah.
and it affects you because regardless, you still have to perform at work. I think back then, because like I was a bit dissatisfied with where I am in life, so I think that was the part also, like, to me it's just like nothing is going well, I'm not where I hope to be. And then every month it's supposed to be a very nice thing to see money coming in, but every time that amount of money is just a constant reminder that, see lah, where are you, on reverse. I think the another part that I'm so worried after taking a salary cut is that you are so worried for the next job you take.
Oh, is there gonna be another cut?
Or rather, because usually recruiters will ask like, what's your last drawn?
Oh, okay.
You
I
know?
see.
Now you know that you're taking lesser.
Yeah.
You need to work from there again.
I see.
Yeah, so I think that was that constant fear also. It's like, why do I put myself in this situation?
It feels as if you have to start back at zero and work your way.
Yeah, like
up
you're
again.
already there. Why do you take this decision to bump yourself down? And
This sounds very similar to the fact that I went to a job, then I left, and then now I'm on a break, and then I have to start again. It sounds very similar.
is it?
Yeah.
Similar?
Yeah, it's more of like, for example, you were saying you compare to others, like how others are excelling further than you, and then you feel like you're taking a step back. For me, I feel stagnant.
Oh.
Yeah, that was a word that I ever shared with my husband with. I look at other people doing fulfilling things, and then I look at myself, I feel stagnant, I told him.
Back then when you took the freelance, like, do you expect yourself to feel this way?
No, I thought I would enjoy the flexibility, but like over time, I wanted to achieve more lah.
Yeah, it's that same feeling lor.
I guess that's what makes us humans, you see. Like, you cannot expect someone to be 100% okay with just taking a pay cut. Like, oh, pay cut, oh, sure, okay. Move on with their day. Surely there'll be some form of resentment there, bitterness. It will creep in every once in a month.
I think pay cuts is also a very interesting and almost taboo topic to talk about. Especially, I feel like in Singapore, we compare so much.
Yeah.
Like, people love to one-up each other.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So, I think maybe I kind of get tainted by that thinking also.
But then at the same time, people might not want to be open to share also. Do you learn anything from that experience?
I must say, thinking back, definitely it's a very humbling experience. Yeah. I share with my dad also. I'm very open with my situation with my parents. Every time when I face layoffs or when I face these kind of hardships, then when I share with him, he will always say, very good. 很好. Very good. Like, it's good that you face
it's a
this
life
now.
lesson, is it?
Yeah.
Oh,
it's good that you
okay.
face this now, and then you feel whatever you feel, learn the lessons that will propel in your life as a
The way you say very
Yeah,
good. I don't
you
know
were
why. I imagine your father like some Shifu master.
Oh, he does look like someone.
And then telling you 很好 something like that. Like,
that was his reaction whenever I tell him. Because, you know, sometimes when you don't feel good about something, you need to tell someone, you just want them to say, oh, no worries lah, it's fine, you know?
Petting on your sayang, petting you on your head.
You just
like,
need someone to say that ma. But to my dad, it's always like, yeah, he's always like this kung fu master. Then like with his arms on his waist, and he's like, very good. Life should beat you more. What is this? Huh? Pay cut only ah? You should get shit callings also ah.
he said that.
No lah, I'm exaggerating.
So funny.
But really, that was what he told me also. I don't know why I say that about my dad. What did I say about my dad?
No, you were saying that you're normally very transparent with your family, and then
I told him.
he framed it as a good
learning,
lesson,
life
good
learning.
life
Yeah.
lesson.
It is like I'm happy that I experienced it early in my life.
Mm-mm.
Because it was really a very humbling experience to know that life is never it's never forward and up. There will always be something that beat you down. And then when you look back about how you climb back up again, then I think that is a way more interesting story than knowing that you are just up and up and up, you know. That is one of the humbling experience. I think it also, okay, this one your mileage may vary lah, but for me it really helped me to be super frugal. Like the proportion of my expenses decreased more than the pay cut.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you get what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like, okay, let's just say I'm taking a 10% pay cut. My expenses, right, decreased 50%.
Oh, you really became very frugal.
Yeah, I kind of map it to being retired. You know, a lot of retirees, when they know that there's no money coming in, they end up being a bit more frugal. Because you know that you are drawing from your reserves already. You don't get as much.
You want to basically stretch the dollar even more.
Correct. Yeah, so I think that was how I felt.
Ah.
Like I stopped going socializing or like
And you start looking at your monthly subscriptions and whatnot. And then
yeah, correct. Then I start to
whichever-
see how I grow my money, and then reduce your liability, increase your income.
I was gonna say something, but I forgot. About how your father framed it as something for you to learn, right? It is something also that I picked up on. I think was it from a movie or from a video, saying something along the lines of how as children, right, growing up, they tend to want to always do the right thing. So there was this one video or movie where the father will sit down with his family, with the children, and then he will ask them, what is the one thing that you failed this week? Meaning he embedded in their life such that he wants them to do something and then want to hear what are the mistakes, because he wants them to learn.
That's so nice.
Yeah, that's a very nice parenting tip, because for my own children, let's say if my daughter, she's 7 years old, so in a way I can talk to her quite maturely, but not that maturely lah, but she can understand things. And then when I put things in a certain perspective, saying that no, it's okay for you to make mistakes, you are still in the transition of learning. Because sometimes she wants to get everything right. She's asking me for answers.
And at such a young age, some more.
Yeah, precisely. Like, it's either she wants to please people or she just wants to make sure everything is perfect. Yeah, there's this need for to be perfect or being right. Then I tell her, it's okay to be wrong. No one's going to scold you. And you are learning. You are a student. You're still in the stage of learning. It's okay to make mistakes. Always remember that. Yeah, so it's something that I have to keep reminding her. The funny thing is, you can say it so much to other people, then sometimes you forget to apply it to yourself.
Oh, that's true, yeah. You're always your worst critic.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's harder to have self-compassion than for others.
Yeah. So there was one time when I did a certain mistake, I critic myself so harshly that I realized, wait, what if I separate myself as a separate person? How would I treat this separate Adila?
Yeah, actually that is something that I learned also in a book called like Self-Compassion, which is actually is better for you. Let's say you feel something, right? I feel down, I feel like no one cares about me. If you just change the I to a third person, so instead of saying I, say she feels down, she feels that no one cares about her. And then that kind of pulls you out from yourself and see yourself as a third person point of view.
I think this self-criticism thing, it went on a lot for me back in my previous job. So I think that's where it affected me so much that I left, because I was mentally and emotionally quite drained. Yeah. Because from freelance you hop in straight away into a full-time job, and then there were expectations and that were not met. Expectations from other people that were not met, and my own expectations were just like, Back then, when I was thinking it that way, I didn't think of it as being negative. But then when few months have passed and I shared it with you, then you were telling me, hey, why were you so harsh on yourself? Then I realized, I was so harsh on myself. Why was I like that?
Yeah, but I think when you're so deep
in the trenches, you didn't think that.
Yeah, like it's almost like all this emotion are just piling on you.
Yeah.
I think this is the point where it's so nice to have a friend to pull you out from it.
Yeah.
I think that's something that I'm trying to learn also. Like when you're interviewing around, how do you make sure that your expectations are met? Like, we hear these stories all the time. I myself experienced it also. You experienced it. My friends experienced it. When they go into the company and experience the day-to-day, they realize that,
It's different from what I
Yeah,
hoped
I
it to
did
be.
not expect it to be like that. And
Yeah.
sometimes it's even for the worst.
Ah,
Yeah. So how do you accurately suss out the day-to-day? I think it's the day-to-day. Yeah, because usually they will say, oh, what questions do you have for me, right? As interviewers, and that's your chance to clarify their fit for you also. And then a lot of times you tend to ask very generic questions. Last time I always ask like, tell me about the collaboration.
Oh yeah, it's a very summarized viewpoint of view.
Cross-functional collaboration. Yeah, then they will say, oh yeah, people here collaborate very well. The people here, they value design. Yeah, the PM, design dev, collaborate together, like all this. But when you go in, then you realize, no way. Yeah, or when you ask them about culture, usually you will ask them, tell me about the culture of the team. And then they will say, oh, the culture is great. You know, the designers, you know, they're having questions, they'll do app critique, blah, blah. And then everyone will be giving their feedback.
Yeah.
Now, I feel that a better way to suss out is tell me the last time you all deliver a feature and how do you all do that.
Oh.
I think that is way more accurate to suss out.
And more insightful as well.
Yeah, because I'm asking for your experience. You need to draw from your past experience in this company on how you manage to push out a feature. And then from there, you can kind of see like, do they talk about designers being involved in which process? Yeah, do they leave out designers? Do they talk about how designers come in and collaborate so well? Yeah.
It's coming across to me as like a research question.
Yeah.
Where
Correct.
you make it very open-ended. There's no negative or positive answer. Like for example, when you're saying about how is the collaboration between the designer and developer, of course they're gonna say it's great. Of course they're gonna say it's good.
Yeah.
How can they say, oh, it's so horrible?
Correct. Because
Yeah.
you're asking them the premise of the question. Like if you want to ask the user or the customer, like, tell me if you like this feature or not,
They will just say,
right?
oh, I like or I don't like.
Yeah, then they will definitely say like, oh, very nice. Very good.
Yeah.
No complaints.
Easy to click.
Yeah.
I feel like we
Day to
should
day.
spin this off to a separate episode where
Yeah.
questions to ask during interviews.
Yeah.
For example, okay, these are your standard questions that we find on Google that people always say, oh, popular questions, and then we will run through and say, do you think this question is accurate? Maybe what's a better question or what's a better phrase?
Yeah. Maybe
phrasing?
yeah. That would be fun.
Ooh.
Okay.
Moving on, so basically now that we already talk about interviews, so what are your thoughts about going back to a company after a layoff? Like, what do you care more about?
So you know, like after you got through a layoff, it's like once bitten, twice shy kind. So my first day of going into a company, or even before that,
Yeah.
my eyes are like open, and I think I'm looking out for how the company is being organized. Like I'm more sensitive towards like what's the focus for the leaders, what are they prioritizing,
What do they care most about?
based on how the company is being organized and based on the resources are being poured into.
Yeah.
What are they thinking?
Uh,
Yeah, because that will define whether or not I'm secure in this job. Yeah, I think that is like this lingering symptom of being laid off before. Yeah, because you kena before, you know. I want to be conscious of my position in the company.
okay.
Yeah, like what business unit am I working on? And if this business unit, is this the focus of the company? If I realize that this business unit is a secondary
just an
thing,
extra thing, and then
Yeah.
you're just being hired for an extra thing, then
Yeah.
you will know that you are at a very risky position.
correct. Maybe it's a toxic thought because I just got employed, but like I found myself like thinking, how susceptible am I to the next layoff? Yeah.
Wow.
And
okay,
in order
okay.
for me to know that for sure, like my first week, I really went to see like how is the company being organized. Yeah, what business units are there? Which one is the focus? Yeah, am I in that focus or am I not? If I'm not in the focus,
Am I at least in the second focus?
yeah. Am I like if
Am I
you stack,
safe
if you stack rank? Yeah, if I think from the leader's point of view, let's say now they know that their budget, right? GG.
Yeah.
Am I the last one in their stack rank? That is like that additional.
Well, it sounds like a very survival instinct.
yeah,
that you
it's
develop.
it's almost
Like a survival designer instinct.
yeah, which is I don't find myself thinking about that in the past.
Yeah, but I guess it sounds sad. You have to think of it this way, but at the same time, I think of it is a positive point because it's a critical thinking on your part, seeing that you don't want to
Exploit?
take it for granted.
That's true.
You don't want to take it for granted.
Correct.
You evaluate where you are in this whole picture of this company. And then you think to yourself, okay, where can I go? Where can I grow?
Correct. Yeah, that's true. Okay, I think my rule right now in my life is that as long as there's a contract that you sign, you need to be aware of your position. Because that also means that it's a transactional thing.
Yeah.
It's very different from like my relationship with my loved ones. There's never a contract because sometimes it's almost unconditional.
I was going to say that word. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, whereas a contract is conditional.
Conditional, yes.
So because of this, I want to know if things happen on your side, like how much will I be affected? I think that is that change in the thinking for me.
It sounds like you matured up even more also.
Mature.
Glow up.
Like finally gone through puberty
but
and
it's good,
employment.
It's good. And you are sharing this with our listeners. I'm sure some of the designers, it's something that they can ponder about.
And I think we can also phrase it in a better way, right? Like it's always good to understand how a company works. Know how your company profits.
Yes.
Like how do they get money?
Reminds me of
how the business
scene
sustains.
shifting systems, was it? It was by Studio Dojo, this workshop I joined. It meaning that you as a designer, you place yourself in the organization and see how you are affecting the day-to-day or how your position is within this whole big organization. How decisions are made. Yeah, then that's where you can understand better how your designs are affecting.
Systemic thinking
systemic
is a
thinking,
very
that's the
good skill for designers also. So I think maybe the way I phrased it just now is a bit too defensive as someone who has gone through a layoff. But we can also reframe this in a better light. Like, okay, knowing all this, how a company works, my position in a company, right? It's also easier for me to expand my impact as a designer in this company. Yeah, generally that's my thoughts around interviewing and then getting back into employment life. That's it. I think we have a pretty long chat around our lives, but I thoroughly enjoy it.
Until it rained.
Yeah, it's raining right now. But yeah, how do you feel?
I feel a bit cathartic. Like you feel like, wow, I just released a lot of things just by sharing.
I feel very happy to be sharing the mic again with you and just talking. Okay, personally I really like this kind of chit chat. Prepping wise, recording wise, it's just so much relaxing.
Yes, and
editing also.
Yeah, we're just being realistic, guys. We also hope that this sort of way is something that you can look forward more to. But it's something that we really enjoy, especially because remember the time when you said that you started back 9 to 5 and then you realized after you come back from work you don't want to think about other.
I just want to know, man.
I just want to decompress from everything that happened in the day, right? Or the meetings and work and imagine if you come back home and then you listen to another such a heavy topic podcast. It'd be very mind-numbing.
Yeah, that's true. So I think just to find a nice balance between us and the listeners, something that's still related to design life.
Yep.
True to design life, but it's more casual.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe we can call it series like, I don't know, Kopi Talk.
Kopi Talk. Wow.
Or like Kopi O Kosong.
I miss our chili padi.
A spin-off from our chili padi episodes.
Oh yeah? Okay.
Yeah, all kopitiam related. But anyway, really good to have this chat. Let us know how you all like this.
If you have an interesting design project or design story that you would think will be helpful to our listeners to learn, feel free to reach out to us, either to me, Adila on LinkedIn, or to Xuan. We also have a LinkedIn page as well. Or if you are active on Instagram, you can also just drop us a DM. So that's it for today.
Yes.
Thanks guys.